Hi, my name is Paul Brady, and today I'm going to walk through a little funnel math with you. The reason this is important is a lot of people will measure when they do, their funnels and they set their ads up. They'll look very carefully at a lot of the Facebook statistics and, follow their cost per click very carefully and all that, but they forget to measure their earnings per click and to compare between the cost per click and the earnings per click. All I'm doing here is I'm walking you through some math and how these numbers, how we came to these numbers. This is an image that Russell Brunson had done in his Network Marketing Secrets book. And by the way, I have a link to it beneath here. It's available to you for free. It's an excellent book. And this section of the book is a bonus section that talks about how you calculate the return on investment in your funnel. And so that's done through, calculating from the beginning here. And I'll just draw a little line here so we can, as we walk through it. Really talking about where, as you're going from the ad here and all the way over to the one-time offer. So you get your ad, your lead capture, your sales, and your one-time offer. And you're calculating in between each step what the conversion rate is. And again, these numbers are up here to help explain where the numbers come from and whatnot. You don't necessarily need to calculate those because you'll know the number of leads you have, for instance, and the number of clicks you have. So from a Facebook ad or a solo ad over here, right here in this area, it's either Facebook or solo ads or a YouTube ad or Google AdWords, however your ad, you're sending traffic to a lead capture page. So now in the lead capture page, we're estimating in this example that we have about 1,000 clicks and that the cost per click, according to the platform we're on, is about 92 cents. So, and going from the ad to the lead capture, we have about 380 leads, and those leads are calculated based on your opt-in rate of about 38% out of 1,000 clicks, and so that's 38% of 1,000 is 380. Now the cost per lead is calculated by dividing the total cost by the total number of leads, which gives you the $2.42. So 920 divided by 380, is what gives you the 242. And again, I'm not a math genius, so I wrote all this stuff down just to make sure I wouldn't make any mistakes. But essentially, this is for people who read about this on the internet, and there are a lot of gurus out there that give you these numbers, but they don't often tell you how exactly they calculate them. So this is meant to be, funnel return on investment 101. We're gonna tell you exactly how to calculate those numbers, so there's no confusion on your part. So you'll notice too that after we have the lead capture, we have 380 leads, and so the numbers now go. There's about a 9% conversion rate from the 380 people that have come in. So that's 34 sales now. So you're 9% conversion. So you had 38% leads, which gave you the 380. Now 9% of that gives you the 34. So the 34 and the product here is $37. So that's $12.58. And if you're looking at how do we calculate the cost per acquisition or the cost per action? Whichever, again, people infuriatingly use different terms for this all the time. I usually call it the cost per acquisition. So that's $27. So how is that calculated? Well, you're taking the taking the 920 here, and you are dividing that by the total number of sales, which is what gives you 27. Okay. So the cost per acquisition is calculated by taking the total cost divided by the total number of sales, and that gives you 20. So you're roughly $27. It's costing you $27 to do an acquisition here. So if we move on from there to your one-time offer, we've got about a 7% conversion rate from the 34, which they're saying is 3. Now, actually, it's funny. I did the math on this before. It's actually 2 point something, and it's not 2 point anything above 2.5, which means you wouldn't round it up to 3. So, but I'm not going to quibble. I'm going to keep it 3 because that's the example I have in the book. But I just want people to know if you use the sheet I'm going to show you in a while, that's a different calculation. The reason is that that's actually not accurate. It's not 3, it's actually 2. But that's okay. Just to keep the numbers simple and use this example, we're going to say it's 3. So you have a conversion rate 7%, which is saying out of 34 is about 3 for your upsell, which is $197, which gives you your cart value of $54. So how is this $54 calculated? Well, that's calculated by taking the total sales, 1849, and dividing it by the total number of sales, which gives you 54. So now, having said all that, there's one thing that we haven't discussed, which is really the whole point of all this. Once you've done all this, okay, the most important thing is to compare the cost per click to the earnings per click. So in this case, the cost per click and the earnings per click, the earnings per click exceed the cost per click. So basically, you want the earnings per click to exceed the cost per click. And the reason is that means that your funnel is profitable. If your, let's say your cost per click were $3 and your earnings per click were $1.85, well, that'd be a big problem because you'd be losing money on the back end on every sale that you made. So that's a huge problem. So this is the reason you do this, folks. You want to go through this whole thing just so you can compare the cost per click with the earnings per click to make sure that you have a profitable funnel. So without further delay, let's take a look at, now this is a spreadsheet I did. I'll give you a link to how you can get it below. But, and if you want and you're so inclined, I'm sure you could figure out based on what I just described you how to create your own. But if you're lazy like me and you want it, and you're trying to figure out the math for your own funnels, or possibly for a product that you'd like to design in a funnel, and you just don't have the funnel done yet, this is how you would do that. So what we're looking at here, this is the same thing we just looked at in the image. So as you can see, the cost per click is 92 cents, and the earnings per click is $1.85, which if you look here, 92 cents, $1.85, same thing. But what I've done here is, and again, I'm going to provide the link down the bottom on how you can get this. If you're lazy like me and you don't like to do math and you'd rather have something that someone else has figured out for you, then I have figured it out and done it in a Google Sheet that I can share with people. I'll give you the link to in the description of how you can get it. So as you can see here, I even calculate what the difference is for you in the spreadsheet between the cost per click and the earnings per click. And as you can see, it's positive. It's 93 cents. But let's say that we went in and looked at the cost per click and said, well, what if the cost per click, let's say there's something wrong with the ad. What if the cost per click were $3? That'd be pretty high. So what happens? Well, with a cost per click of $3, the numbers, all the opt-ins, let's say, remain, the conversion rates remain the same. Okay, so you'd still have 380, 34, and 3. But look what happens. Because the cost per click is $3, now you're taking $3 less your $1.85, which is your earnings, and you're losing $1.15 on every sale. So this is a huge problem, right? In the same respect, if you were to come through here, let's change this back to 92. So let's say that instead of changing the cost per click, let's say that the ad is fine. But what happens if the lead capture, there's something wrong with your landing page, let's say, and people aren't converting. So instead of having, 38% conversion rate, which would be 380, let's say that you only have 100 or even 50 leads, which is pretty low. So look at your cost per lead. It's gone up to $18.40. Now, when you take that, 9% of the number of leads, now ends up 5 instead of 34. So we put that in there, and your 7% of this number ends up with nothing. You end up with 0, which again, unlikely kind of. And so again, you're seeing your cost per click is 92 cents, but you're losing 74 cents because your earnings per click are far less than your cost. And we can, play with some other numbers. Let's make this a little more realistic. Let's say instead of 380, you have 150 or even 200, let's say. So you have 200. Your cost per lead is a little better. It's 460, but you only have 18 people, which is better than 5, but not as good as 34, which is what we had initially. So we'll say it's 18. And then you have 1 conversion up here, 7% of that. So as you can see, you're still losing money on every sale. It's 6 cents. So the reason for doing this is I just wanted to walk through this image and talk about it and show how each of these are calculated. But I also wanted to provide a little value if I could and just share a spreadsheet here where, again, beneath the video, I'll send you, there'll be a link on how you can get a copy of the spreadsheet to use in your own Google Sheet or even import it into Excel if you want. But just to show you how to do this stuff. And it's good. This is great because you can go in here, plug your own numbers in, and calculate whether, after you've done a few tests, whether your, funnel math makes sense, whether you're, making a return on investment or whether you're losing money. And one of the things I suggest with people too is that if you're starting out and doing that with ads, to start with something less, not a lot of money in the beginning until you tweak your areas where you're having a problem in your funnel. And a lot of times it's either going to be your ad or your lead capture. So if you see really high cost per click costs here, then there's probably a problem with your ad. And if you see a really low opt-in rate for your lead capture, but your cost per click is good, then your ad's fine probably, but your lead capture is not good. So you have to look at the design of your landing page and see if there's something you can do to tweak the wording or tweak the images or replace the video or whatever it is that you have there. I tend to go for very simple for just an opt-in campaign. And again, you can do the same for the sales and the one-time offer. You might have a great opt-in conversion rate for your lead capture, but maybe a very poor or non-existent conversion rate for your sales page. Well, that's obviously a problem. So you have to look at that as well. And again, it's about tweaking the language, making it engaging, trying to get people wanting to opt in or wanting to buy your product or service. So at any rate, having said that, I will provide a link below and for you to how you can get your own copy of this sheet, which again, if you're good with Google Sheets, you probably figured out enough from what I've described just to create your own. But if you're lazy like me and you just want someone else to do it, then I'm going to provide it for you and you can grab it down below. So just for kicks, I'm going to also include a few free share funnels to some very nicely designed opt-in lead gen opt-in pages for you that you can use as part of what we see here. So you'd have your ad and then a nicely designed lead gen page that you can use along with a sales page and other things. So I hope this has been helpful. My name is Paul Brady and appreciate you watching, and I like to add value for people that subscribe. So don't forget, please subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell so that you can get notifications when I drop new videos. And I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you.